wherever the goods have got to be moved. The only time clock they've got to punch, the one in their heads, because out on the road, they're on their own.
10-4, good buddies of the vinyl community. Trucker Midge here, a guy in a trucking hat that likes to talk about records. And today's video, I'm going to talk to you about something that I bought recently that has rekindled a passion in me that I've not felt since I was a kid. And it's not the underwear section of the 1983 Littlewoods catalogue, it's a record. Now, since I was a kid, I've had a really romantic notion of being a trucker and being a long haulage trucker, tearing up and down the highways. And this record that I bought has rekindled all that for me, and I'm going to talk about that record in a minute. But basically, what attracted me as a young teenage kid to be a trucker? Well, there was lots of reasons recently. You got trucks, girls, chocolate, hats, CB radio. You've got moustaches, tearing up the highway, chimps, girls, late night truck stops, chocolate, hitchhikers, greasy spoons, and of course the smell of diesel. But, what more could you ask for? Thrilling danger, spills, thrills, all that comes with being a trucker, obviously. But the thing I really, really blame on these romantic notions of being a trucker is Yorkie.
I pounded the road from coast to coast, Yorkie and me rolling on. 'Cause a long day's run can be short on fun, without Yorkie to help me along. Good, rich and thick, a milk chocolate brick, each bite a chunky big mouthful. Yorkie's the shape that real milk chocolate ought to be. So when I spill that big old mill, there's plenty more in store for me from that chunky bar of mine.
Roundtree's Yorkie, chunky milk chocolate.
Every mouthful's rich and thin from that big milk chocolate brick called Roundtree's Yorkie. I'll drift away for a minute there. For Yorkie, I've got time to spare. Then I'll take that truck and I'll drive her anyway.
I mean, whoever has eaten a chocolate bar like that, there must have been a dentistry condition going around in the 80s called trucker's mouth, because they can't have had any teeth on this side of the mouths, because they were forever eating chocolate like that. Nobody eats chocolate like that. But chocolate aside, and all the other things I've mentioned, there were also films when I was a kid like Smokey and the Bandit and Convoy. And in these films, truckers were always portrayed as sort of like modern day outlaws and, cowboys, and forever sticking it to the man, getting the better of the police, tearing up and down the highway, doing whatever they wanted, getting into all sorts of scrapes and picking up really attractive women. But, the thing that's reignited all this is this album that I'm going to show you right now. And it's Diesel Smoke and Dangerous Curves, Big Rig Bustin' Hits, 1965 to 1976. And this is fantastic. It was a Record Store Day release from earlier in the year, and I spotted it on the list and I thought, that looks right up my alley. But it was really expensive. I think it was an import, so it was about 40 odd quid for a single record, and I thought, I'm not paying that. But using the old record collector patience, I've waited a few months and I managed to spot it in a sale, so I got it more or less half price. And I'm so glad I did, because this is absolutely fantastic. It's a compilation of country songs detailing the ups and downs of being a trucker, the highs and the lows, the glamorous bits and the not so glamorous bits. And it's fantastic. It's almost like its own genre that I never knew existed. I've come to calling it trucking country. That's a phrase that I've used on and off over the years when I hear things like the Dixie Chicks and new country on the radio, because I can't stand it. But this is superb. This is like your old-fashioned type country music. And it's great. It's on the Omni record label. There's 16 tracks. Some artists I've heard of, some I haven't heard of. But all the songs are great. Like I say, 16 tracks. The packaging's great. Comes in this gatefold sleeve. You've got some of the artists there and the labels. But on this side, you've got all the trucks, the CB radios, And, just fantastic, isn't it? It must have been great being a trucker in the 70s and 80s because every truck came with a free lady. It's just fantastic. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to talk you through some of my favourite songs and what they're about, and you'll see what I mean about the ups and downs and the glamour of being a truck driver. So all these songs are just adding to my fantasies of being a truck driver on the road. It starts off with the unfortunately named Dave Dudley and his track 6 Days on the Road, which is talking about, the hardship of being on the road all the time and wanting to get home and see his wife. He spent 6 days on the road. He's tearing down the highway to get back to her. He talks about taking little white pills to keep him awake. He talks about his logbook being out of date. So, this is really stuff that will appeal to the truckers. They'll know exactly what he's talking about. And he talks about being a little overweight. Now, I presume that means his freight and not his stomach, though he probably has had quite a few greasy spoon breakfasts if he's been on the road for 6 days. But that's a great way to start the album off. And then you've got Red Simpson, another great name for a trucker, or a CB handle, and his song Diesel Smoke Dangerous Curves, which is what the album's named after. And he's talking about the perils of life on the road. He goes out with his buddies, been drinking beer the night before. He wakes up with an aching head and bloodshot eyes, but he's still got to deliver that freight. It's a hard life being a trucker. And he even wakes up with a dame and he doesn't even know her name. So, it's not easy being a trucker. So that's another great song. Then you've got Bobby Braddock, Gear Busting Sort of a Fella, and this track is absolutely fantastic. It uses the driver's air horn to cover up cuss words on it. It's almost like an old-fashioned rap song. He's got a fantastic tongue-twisting chorus, which I'll play for you now. This is superb.
I'm a double clutching, scale jumping, mound making, tailgating, cop dodging, line crossing, coffee drinking, pinballing, jackknifing, fog timing, wind jamming, late running, gear busting sort of a fella.
And then you've got the fantastically named Dick Curless, which sounds like some sort of manscaping technique that you use to trim down your hairy parts. But no, Dick Curless, and the song Tombstone Every Mile, which sounds like a long, graveyard, but that's a song about a stretch of road that truckers venture into near a forest. Very few of them get out alive. It's a very treacherous road. There's loads of ice and things like that. So again, it's sort of like saying that, if you counted all the dead truckers on that road, there'd be a tombstone every mile. That's a great track. And another favourite on here is Hank Snow, I've Been Everywhere. Now, again, this is another one of those great sort of tongue-twisting type songs like the Bobby Braddock one. So check this one out.
Louisville, Nashville, Knoxville, Omaha, Sheffield, Jacksonville, Waterville, Costa Rica, Pittsfield, Springfield, Bakerfield, Shreveport, Hackensack, Cadillac, Fond du Lac, Newport, Idaho, Jellicoe, Argentina, Diamantina, Pasadena, Catalina, see what I mean, driving everywhere, man.
So never asked to see Hank Snow's Holiday Snaps because I think you'll be there a while. Another favourite is Del Reeves' Girl on the Billboard. Now, this is a song about a trucker going down a highway, and every day he sees a painting of a girl on a billboard advertising something, wearing nothing but a smile and a towel, and that's the chorus. So he constantly repeats that chorus. That's really good as well. And he gets so obsessed with her that he tracks down the artist that painted her in the hope that he'll tell him where this girl lives so he can go out and ask her for a date. But the artist says, you're an absolute buffoon. It's just a picture, just from my imagination. And so the truck driver just goes away absolutely heartbroken. He'll never meet the girl with just a smile and a towel. Heartbreaking. But again, the life of a trucker is not easy. So the biggest song on this album for me has got to be C.W. McCall's international novelty hit Convoy from 1975. Absolute classic, internationally known song. It went in the charts all over the world, and it capitalised not only on the trucking boom, but it also capitalised on the huge CB radio boom that was going on at the time. The secret lingo that drivers used was also something else that attracted people to becoming a trucker. And everybody wanted a piece of it, even the people sat at home. So CB radio was absolutely huge at the time. In fact, the song was so big that C.W. McCall even had his own signature model made. And yeah, they were everywhere. People used them not only in trucks, but they used them in cars. Nuns used them to communicate with God. 70s Radio 1 DJs used them to keep in constant touch with the lawyers. Housewives used them to inform the authorities that their husband had been taken over by a malevolent demon hotel. You name it, CBs were used for it. Even Terry and June had one, for Cripe's sake. And you could buy them in Rumbelows in the high street in the UK. CBs were absolutely huge. And yeah, the song, they're still trying to work out what the hell the song was actually about. But it was a major hit all over the world, and it's still a cool song now. It also inspired 2 years later the actual film Convoy, and the characters mentioned in C.W. McCall's song were actually featured in the film as well. So that's how big the song was, and it's still an absolute trucking classic. Which reminds me, just excuse me just for one moment. Breaker, good buddies, this is Trucker Midge. Anybody got their ears on? This is for any truckers on the I-19 heading for Shaky Town. If you got your pedal to the metal, you need to check for a fox in the hen house. I've heard word of a Kojak with a Kodak and numerous bogies at the crossroads. They even got a bear in the air. And you don't want them going up your fudge tunnel. And you don't want them going for your swindle sheets neither. Also, watch out for them 13-letter shit spreaders and keep away from them lot lizards. Check your wiggle waggles, and I'll see you on the flip-flop. 10-4, good buddies.
Drag on these nuts across your forehead.
So, the last two songs I want to talk to you about on this compilation are both by a gentleman by the name of Red Sovine. And there is sort of like a twist on the normal trucking type stories that you get in these songs. And the first song is called Teddy Bear. And basically, it's a trucker tearjerker. So basically, it's got everything that a trucking country song needs. So it's got a little cripple boy. It's got a dead trucker dad. It's got a mum that's working all hours. And it's got everything that's going to pull on the heartstrings of your average trucker. So basically, the song involves, it's a spoken word song with a country backing. So basically, a trucker is in his lorry one night, he's trucking along, and he gets a call on his CB radio from a little boy who says that his dad's died in a trucking accident, his mum's got to make all ends meet, and he's just talking to, for a bit of company, talking to the trucking guys. So the guy listens to his story, gets a big lump in his throat, and he seems to think he's the only one listening, so he decides to turn his truck round, go to this lad's house to cheer him up and to give him a ride in his lorry because his dead dad can't do it anymore, obviously. So the twist is, at the end, when he pulls up outside his house, he finds that all the truckers have been listening to his story, and there's like 20-odd huge trucks outside this little lad's house. They're all taking him for rides. They have a collection for the mum, so she doesn't have to work as hard. And it's a real tearjerker. You can imagine all these truckers sat in late night truck stops listening to this song on the jukebox and just crying into the beers and, but at the end it all comes good, and the mum even comes on the CB radio to thank the truckers at the end. So yeah, it's a nice heartwarming trucker tearjerker there. And the last one is a song that I already knew, but I've never heard the original version, and it's Big Joe and Phantom 309, which is a trucking ghost story. So I'm not swearing there. It is a trucking ghost story. So you might have heard it before. In fact, Tom Waits does an absolutely amazing version of this song on his 1975 Nighthawks at the Diner album. If you've never heard the song, check it out. It's an absolutely amazing trucking ghost story, and Tom Waits does a fantastic job of it on this album. So check that out. But yeah, I'm not going to spoil it for you by telling you the story of it. But it's just a great mythical trucker ghost story, and it's like Red Sovine does it obviously as a spoken word monologue again. But it's great to hear the original version as well. So yeah, that's it. So basically, check this compilation out. You don't have to go for this one. I've since discovered that there's loads of other compilation albums throughout the years that somehow I've missed out on, with trucking hits and things like that. I think there's even one with this same title. And obviously there's a lot of country stars who went the whole hog and did their own trucking-based albums. So, yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic. I've relived a few fantasies and, you know, it just takes me back to being a kid and wanting to be a trucker. And now I want to be a trucker even more. So, yeah, absolutely fantastic compilation. See if you can get one. Just check it out. I've been really impressed with this. Absolutely loving it. Keep on trucking. Keep your wheels spinning. Keep the beavers grinning. And I'll see you on the road sometime. 10-4.
You some bitch!